I'm sorry. Um, I like that to just be there. Um, I had far more challenges to overcome in my life than I ever knew existed. And yet I carried them with me everywhere all the time. And it makes everything very exhausting. It's so little me existing because I didn't know who me was, but what I felt like came out natural was something people either didn't like or didn't understand or made fun of. Um, Whether it was having a speech impediment when I was little, whether it be the weird ways I hold my arms, often like up around my chest, sometimes with my wrist curled. I don't even realize I'm doing it. People ask me if I'm okay. People ask me if there's something wrong with my heart. People making fun of me because I'm looking at the ground, I'm looking at the ceiling, I'm looking everywhere but at the person talking to me. Constantly just uncomfortable. One thing I was constantly bullied about in school is I would sit and constantly pull my shirt away from me because it just always felt wrong. It just never felt comfortable. It's all sorts of, things like that. Refusal to wear anything but cotton clothing. I couldn't stand the feel of most clothing. Stuff like that. Stuff like I got to go, yay me, I got to start school earlier than everybody else that year. I didn't know it because I was bigger than all the other kids, but I was 4 and they were all 5 and 6. It wasn't until middle school that I kind of put the numbers together and realized I would be 16 starting my senior year. But for all my promise, all my abilities, everything, Mark is so smart. Mark taught himself to read. Mark can figures anything out that he works on, and and the writing language was just came as easy for me as math came hard. And it used to be a time when I thought that's maybe how I would make my life. I would make my life by writing. That's what I wanted. I wrote a dozen short stories. I wrote a gargantuan novel that is 6 inches of paper and not finished. I wrote one book that I actually completed beginning to end. So a lot of those things. I composed music. I didn't just play guitar. I composed music. I've written dozens of my own songs. I don't know where the cassettes are from when I was young. We used to record ourselves playing. I was terrible, but it would have been interesting to still have. And I never had much direction. Didn't really know where fitting in was, what making sense was. Um, I excelled when I started new jobs, especially when it came to especially when it came to organizing and arranging things. I am an absolute master at arrangement and organization and fitting things together in spaces. Um, but something's always gone wrong. Something's always gone wrong. No matter how hard I try, I can't make it to work every day on time. No matter how hard I try, I let weird things slip out. Um, you know, I've got 100 thoughts that I would never say out loud because they're not things that I'm thinking about wanting to say. They're just going through my head. No matter what happened, it can never stay anywhere. No matter how hard I tried, no matter how far up I moved, and then I would just as suddenly be cut and crashed. When I met Jesse, I had not grown up yet. Or I had grown up in the sense of I'd been able to take care of myself since I was about 8. Because a lot of us had to. Parents were always working. But wasn't looking for Jessie when I found her. And I never wanted her to stay unless she wanted to. And we had 3 babies. Nothing in the world that I love more than them. You know, growing older, growing distant. They didn't have an easy life. They didn't have too hard a life. We were always just, this close from having nothing. Seemed to move from crisis to crisis. And that was my mode for, 15 years. It was this crisis to crisis to crisis. Every day was, fuck, what now? And every day something would happen. There was never any money to be saved. Never, could afford to pay somebody to fix a house or to fix the car. Always me. I had to do it because I couldn't afford to pay somebody else to do it. It worked for my family. I worked all those hours, including when Arden was a baby, and I know I was working usually minimum 70 hours a week. And things got tense and things got hard. But nothing got better. Nothing got better. And I was always so overloaded, so overwhelmed. I always had so much on me, and then I would come home and everything would set me off. Or if we would get into a fight, my wife and I would feel trapped. I would have a hard time talking. I would stutter. I would start banging my head against things or breaking things because I felt like I was full of so much pressure that I was going to explode. And this happened dozens and dozens of times over the years. And I'm sorry people got hurt. And unintentionally or not, I'm sorry people got hurt. I didn't know what was happening. I like everybody else, thought I just had an awful temper and I just needed to work on my temper. But then what happened last year just ended everything. In combination of being prescribed too much steroid with no taper down for the inflammation in my neck, triggered a psychosis, a mania, and I spent pretty much 3 weeks out of my mind, destroying my family, pushing everyone away from me, kicking my wife out, losing my son with that because he had to go with our 14. I lost everything. Literally, I'd already lost my job because of the neuropathy, the health issues that I have. One of my kids was already moving out, which, you want them to grow up and move out, and I was happy for that. The other one's been trying to. The one that's not 18, just not here. It's just me. Me, birds, and 6 dogs I can't take care of properly. I can't hardly take care of them at all. Physically, I've degenerated so much in the last couple of years. Getting up and down a set of stairs can wind me for 10 minutes straight. Make my legs burn like they're on fire. But it's not the best of my life. Turned out the reason I was weird, the reason I couldn't fit in, the reason I couldn't talk to people, the reason people made fun of me, the reason I would get so overwhelmed so easily and explode in such violent manner sometimes, the reason, because all my life I have been autistic and I have ADHD and I'm dyslexic and I have dyscalculia, so these are all things you find out way too late sometimes. So now I'm just alone, kind of counting my days. I have no desire. I have no way to do any kind of regular work, and I don't have skills to sub out and do small projects for people. I can't do physical labor. I can't stand up straight, especially if nothing to lean on. I hate everything now. I just didn't lose my wife. I lost my family. And I say that because I don't really have one of my own. So hers has been mine for the last 27 years. And they've been as important to me as any blood relative could be. And now that's all gone too. You know, I don't get holidays anymore. You know, no one's gonna be here on their birthdays. And I have a grandson coming, but because of my physical condition, I can't keep him alone with me. I can't babysit or help that way. And because of the condition of my house, bring a baby in here. So I don't know. Like, you know, it's the sort of thing you should look forward to, but I don't. I don't look forward to it for me because I hope my daughter's happy. I hope the baby is the happiest thing in her life. I really do. I know he's not going to be much of a part of my life. And that's not because I don't want to. Because I don't have a way. I don't have a way anymore. I have nothing to wake up to tomorrow. The next day. The day after that. Chores and prattling around. Cleaning up stuff. What am I doing? What am I working towards? A clean house. Yay. Okay, then what happened? Nothing. Great. Nothing changes. And I don't know if regular neurotypical people can understand this, but I can't change like this fast. To me, it feels like my entire life was broken in half, and part of it was thrown away, and I'm trying to limp forward with the part that's left, but the only part that's left is what's attached to me. Every other part of my life was in the piece that was broken off and thrown away. I don't want to live because I have to live like this. And even if I get put on disability, which I am trying to get on because I can't work, well, they give you so little and they prohibit you from earning so little on the side that they literally force you to stay in poverty. So that's my future, living alone, with the neuropathy progressing, so, you know, slowly watching parts of my body work less than they did the day before, sort of thing. Forced into poverty. This is not the life I planned. But it's what can happen when you think you're doing everything right. You think you're doing everything right. All I ever wanted to do was earn enough money to take care of my family and give them a decent life to live. I wanted them to have a decent house. I wanted to be able to help them get their first cars. I wanted to be able to help them go to college if that's what they wanted. I wanted to be a safety net when they left. And I am not a safety net, I am an abyss. I am just an abyss. Everything, I just pull everything in, but nothing comes back. And soon I hope I don't come back, because I don't want to. I do not want to look at my future every day and know that my future every day is just what I'm doing today. And I don't have a way to change that. I don't have money. I don't have physical strength. I don't have any support system. Just me. Deteriorating. That's all it is. But this, I didn't want things to end like this. I wanted to grow old with my wife. I wanted the two of us to be able to have our grandkid over. I wanted my son to grow up around me, not visiting me once a week or so. I wanted a future. Some kind of future. And I don't have one. I don't have one. And I'm not blaming anybody. People didn't know what was going on with me, and I didn't know what was going on with me. Now knowing and doesn't help me because I've already lost everything. So no matter how much better I get, nothing gets better.